Boxing truth here. Andre Ward had no choice but to go through with the Sergey Kovalev fight. I was just too much pressure mounting from HBO, a network that was only willing to offer him a package deal that included a Sergey Kovalev fight. Otherwise, HBO wouldn't have allowed the showcases and cherry-picked fights that he's been feeding to HBO and their subscribers. This is why HBO is taking a hit with these showcases and cherry picks that has been on the network ever since Ward returned to the sport following a lengthy absence from the sport due to injuries and litigation. But now everything's signed, sealed, and delivered. Tickets will be going on sale. HBO finally has their fight that they've been planning it for months. The fight's going to go down. And really, Ward had no choice but for it to go down. I mean, where was he going to go? HBO was only willing to put on these showcases and cherry-pick fights because he was committing to a Sergey Kovalev fight. Had he pulled out of this fight, HBO would have been done with him. They're pretty much practically already done with him. They pretty much sensed that Kovalev is their guy. He's more reliable. He's more active. He's willing to travel to take big fights. He's willing to fight the best in the world on a more consistent basis compared to Andre Ward. Ward was in a corner. He was trapped. He was pressured into this fight. Otherwise, HBO would have gave him the boot. They would have told him, fuck you, take your cherry-pick fights and your showcases to see if any other network will deal with you. Since you don't want to fight the best on a consistent basis, you want to pull out of fights, you don't want to be as active as you can be. He's disappointed HBO too many times. And now, he is simply being sacrificed. A stepping stone for Kovalev on the verge of bigger stardom. HBO is Team Kovalev on November 19th. They expect him to win. They want him to win. And they're using Andre Ward's name in order to catapult Sergey Kovalev into a different stratosphere, different level of boxing stardom. Kovalev is the A-side in this fight. He is the unified triple world champion at the light heavyweight division. He's on the verge of pound-for-pound recognition as being the best fighter in the world. If he defeats Andre Ward, especially by knockout, he may get that claim. It's very possible. In my pound-for-pound ratings book, no, he won't be the number one fighter in the world. But if he keeps fighting the best competition, if he keeps seeking greater challenges, if he becomes the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, then he may have the strongest claim to the throne. But right now, Andre Ward must have the jitters. Not fully realizing he's in for the toughest fight of his life, the most dangerous opponent to date in his career, the most complete fighter he's faced in his career. A guy that has been destroying his opponents, that has been completely dominant since his HBO run back in 2013. Unifying titles, knocking out world-class opponents. And now Ward, who hasn't been in a top-level fight in years, hasn't fought any world-class opponent in years, is going right into the lion's den against one of the baddest men on the planet, in Sergey Kovalev. And yet, despite some soft-ass opposition for the past 3 years, cherry-picking, not even fighting top 10 level opponents at light heavyweight division, he is still a slight favorite over Sergey Kovalev, but that has to do with him, I believe, in being an American. He's the American in this fight, but right now, even the experts see it as Andre Ward's demise, as those odds can quickly change as the fight gets nearer. May end up Kovalev being the slight favorite. Who knows? But I don't go by odds. I don't go by what the experts say. I just simply watch tape, look at guys' momentum going into the fight, look at guys' form in recent fights, going into a big fight like this, and then I make my pick. What impact each fighter could have on the sport. And right now, it's Sergey Kovalev. He will have a much bigger impact on the sport compared to Andre Ward, which is why HBO is pulling for Kovalev to win this fight, because there are bigger fights in the future. As Andre Ward is just pretty much at the tail end of his career, in the twilight of his career. He's nowhere near the fighter he used to be. He was only given a package deal to fight on HBO if it included Sergey Kovalev. And now the fight's going to go on down on November 19th. And while some are expecting Andre Ward to be too technical, to be too smart for Sergey Kovalev, you have to consider that everything Kovalev has been doing, the type of run he's been on, and compare it to what Andre Ward's been doing, which is not much. Not even making defenses or winning world titles, just fighting hand-picked opposition. So it's just hard for me to believe that a guy who hasn't been doing shit for years is simply going to derail everything that Kovalev and all the momentum he's built for himself the past 3 years, ever since his run on HBO. A guy who hasn't even fought a top-level fighter in 5 years is somehow going to just derail everything Kovalev has done and the type of run that he's been on. It's not going to happen. HBO put pressure on Ward to take this fight, and if he didn't, HBO would have been done with him. They would have gave him the boot, told him to take his showcases back to BET or any network that was willing to deal with him. So let's hope it's smooth sailing from here on out. As Golden Boy, who has dealt with Rock Nation in the big fight before, will tell you that there was issues up until the very first bell sounded for Canelo Cotto. But at least the tickets are on sale. The fight's going down. Thank you, Andre Ward, for taking the fight. You most likely were pressured into it. Otherwise, you pretty much have nowhere else to go. What network will take you? What network will be willing to pay you the type of money that HBO has been paying you? If it didn't include a Sergey Kovalev fight, of course. But yes, we're finally going to get this fight. And I can't wait to see Andre Ward get knocked the fuck out. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.